I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Those were the words of Albert Einstein on World War III, basically meaning World War III could potentially wipe out the human race, but if it was going to happen, what or who would start it? Well, here's 5 potential scenarios that people believe will kickstart the Third World War. A terrorist group. Terrorism seems the most likely cause for World War III, and very nearly has been. All it will take is for a terrorist group to get their hands on a nuclear weapon, which they will most likely target a major city of USA, UK, France or Israel. The victim country will discover the terrorist group and the country supporting the group, and will declare a total war against the country and terrorist group involved. If the terrorist group does happen to be of Muslim religion, then many conclude people will take it as a war against Islam, or the country that is funding the group. It's similar to the 1930s Spanish Civil War. The Italians and the Germans supported the rebels financially during the battle, and this current ISIS dilemma certainly has the potential to start a global war. They are causing complete mayhem and are not showing any signs of stopping. ISIS are of course being funded by someone, but it's not entirely sure who by. But the fact that America are already questioning a missile attack could mean we are heading in the right direction for a war. North and South Korea. We all knew this would be in here, and for good reason. The North and the South are not very simpatical and haven't been for some time. There was a scare not that long ago that had the potential to start a war, when North Korea nearly issued a full-blown war on the South. And although we haven't been bombarded by the news like we were, this is still a serious ongoing battle that only takes one ruthless act to trigger an enormous war. You see, if the North bomb the South, then America will get involved as they back South Korea. Then Russia may attack America and it will all kick off. If that's not scary enough, North Korea is fully equipped with nuclear weapons which could cause complete destruction in one command. A complete accident. A misunderstanding or accident could start World War III, and although this sounds silly, we have come close to this many times. In the 1950s, a flock of Canadian geese activated the Distant Early Warning Line radar system. The birds were mistakenly interpreted as a Soviet bomber attack, and could have led to a missile attack on the Soviet. Again, in 1979, an operator's mistake resulted in the transmission of a message that the US was under nuclear attack. When the information was sent to NORAD fighter bases, 10 fighters were immediately scrambled from 3 different bases in the US and Canada. The following year, a malfunctioning chip in a mini-computer caused a similar situation. However, this time 100 B-52 bombers were prepared for takeoff, along with the President's emergency aircraft. And the most recent? Well, this happened on January 1995. A 4-stage Norwegian-US joint research rocket was launched with the intentions of gathering information about the Northern Lights. In the middle of the night, Russian President Boris Yeltsin was awoken and told that the US had launched a nuclear missile towards Russia, and that he had a mere minutes to decide whether to launch Russia's own nukes against the US. Luckily, the missile headed out to sea and President Yeltsin did not persist, but could well have begun a nuclear war. Would we all be here right now if he had commanded the missile attack? That is a scary thought. A shortage of resources. It's a certainty that we will one day run out of oil, petrol and even land, and when this does happen, it will have an enormous impact on the world's financial and industrial sectors and has the potential to cause major disruption. One country may invade another for their resources, thus leading to a war. Although countries are working hard to find substitutes for when this does happen, there is one shortage which is most likely, alongside oil, to create a war: water. The high demands of water have taken their toll, and although it's mostly the Middle East and Africa that currently suffer from such shortage, a combination of overpopulation, increased demand and river and ocean pollution mean that getting access to clean water might only become more difficult in the future, with the potential to trigger local and global conflicts. Russia versus Ukraine. The Russia and Ukraine conflict began when Russia invaded Ukraine following the February 2014 UK revolution. Since then, Russian soldiers and Ukrainian soldiers have been engaged in firefights in eastern Ukraine. Could this conflict ultimately lead us down the road to World War III? The exact cause of the conflict is argued on both sides. The Western world is blaming Russia's aggression for the mess in Ukraine. Russia are saying that the West is funding the violent groups in Ukraine, and that the Ukrainian government is made up of terrorists that are attempting to oppress millions of ethnic Russians in eastern Ukraine. But here is the most likely cause for a war. It's the fact that Ukrainian units have captured Russian paratroopers, meaning that Russia is now conducting a stealth invasion of Ukraine. although Vladimir Putin is denying any such invasion. But if he did publicly admit it, that would put Barack Obama into a position of either having to do something about the Russian invasion or look weak in the eyes of the public. And as the Russians have already shown, they are more than willing to match any move that the Obama administration makes. All it takes is for Vladimir Putin to either release his military plans or for him to launch a devastating attack on Ukraine to force America into battle. So that's 5 potential causes for World War III. What are your predictions? How do you think it will all kick off, or whether it will at all? Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.